Let we start. Yeah, hold on. Today. Oh, we still not finished the king yet. Okay. Okay, next time we stop right here. Oh, did we already done? We done all this thing, right?
I can't see the screen, Tay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Did we do all this thing yet?
Okay, we want to add a mean to was in 30 crushes out evil. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think we covered that paragraph. It's all sounds, yeah, because the non-self, not
Yeah.
non-self. Yeah.
No. We also do Saka, right?
Yeah.
Saka, we done with that too.
Mm-hmm.
We also
Certainly.
okay,
Yeah.
Saka, when he take refuge in the Buddha, that's why the five sides gone, right? So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and we also learned about Angulimala. We
Yeah, we
did
done
that.
about it already. Yeah. Oh, Red King there, man. How we go to? Okay, did we learn about it yet?
I'm not sure if we did the one before that either. The King, there was Suvira. I don't think we read about Suvira.
Oh, okay. We learned about this one, right?
Yeah, Angulimala. Yeah, we did
Yeah.
that one.
Okay, now we can do this. Okay, before that, I want to where here? Oh my goodness. Um, okay, go ahead. William.
Namo, fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo, fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo, fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Okay, now we about to hear. Okay, go ahead.
O great king, there was a prince called Suvira. His father cut off the hands and legs of this prince in anger and threw them into a deep pit. His mother, feeling sorrow and pity for him, had someone pull him out and took him to the Buddha. On seeing the Buddha, his hands and legs were restored, and he gained the unsurpassed bodhicitta. O great king, from seeing the Buddha there was actual reward in this present life. Hence we say that the Buddha is the unsurpassed doctor. He is not of the kind of the six masters.
Okay, well, you remembered about the sixth master, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
So based on this teaching, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's pretty astounding if we take it literally. Someone having their hands and feet restored. I mean, it shows up in other teachings of the Buddha. I mean, if we thought of it symbolically, I mean, it's very easy to understand how that could be symbolic of like, if the father cut off his hands, maybe it's symbolic for, the father like kept him from having any sort of agency over his life. He kept him kind of in a degree of bondage where he wasn't able to kind of follow his own course, something like that. But if we take it literally, it's like, wow, that's for nowadays, never seeing anything close to that happen. It's difficult. It'd be difficult to fully accept that, wow, he just made his arms and legs come back.
My grandmaster Sanghua, right?
Mhm.
When he was in China, I think 1930 something, 40. And one time he well, he never holding any money. So if he want to go somewhere, then he go there and he sit there until someone come and give him the money enough for him to go from there to from here to there, whatever. And he never beg for money. So one time he had to cross the river, and you know what? He go to the he get on the boat, right? With And in the boat, right, there were many people, and one of the men he was handicapped, and he cannot walk since he was born. And the master said that, "Do you want to walk?" And you know what? He looked at the master and said, "Are you kidding? Well, do you want?" And yes. And you know what? He used the stick because he always, wherever he go, he always have his stick. So he used his stick and he just knocked on the feet only 3 times. And he said to the
Knocked on the what?
on the foot
On his foot. Okay.
3 times. And he said that you can stand up and walk. And this man, you know what? He did not believe it, but anyway he had to stand up and God. And when he stand up, he be able to walk. So how do we explain this thing?
Yeah, and that one, while amazing, is a little bit less of a stretch because he still had his legs.
Yeah.
So that the one where there's like they're cut off and they come back is like, whoa, like how can that happen? This one is very astounding. I mean, how do you explain that? I mean, it would. I don't know that we can really explain it from a scientific perspective,
No, okay.
like a mechanism of, okay, he tapped his feet with a staff. Like I don't. I think it's kind of inexplicable beyond saying some sort of spiritual powers, because of things which aren't understood. Yeah, it's fantastic.
What about the people who use the magic to turn rock into gold?
Oh, like alchemists have like I don't know anybody who does that. Is that possible? I didn't think that was possible.
It's possible.
I don't
And
know. Yeah.
you know what, in Mahayana Sutra, always say that our mind, right? When we're talking about the consciousness, it means the forward-thinking mind, right? The forward-thinking mind is just like the magician, right? Who be able to manifest or to make things appear in different form. Yeah. So basically, and you know that one of the novice monk, he very famous later on. He the one who translate most of the Mahayana Sutra from Sanskrit into Chinese. When he was 7, and his mother is the princess of one of the India country. And when he was 7, his mom took him to the temple. And outside the temple, where there was a very big bell, right? Right? Do you know outside the temple, usually they have a very big bell.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And he just want to play. You know what he did? He used his one hand and he lifted the bell. The bell could weigh about 1,000 pounds. 1,000 pounds. And then when he lifted over his head, right? And suddenly he have the thought come up in his mind. Wow, I'm only 7 years old. How could I be able to lift this heavy object? One, he have that for thinking. And you know what? 1,000 pounds of the bell, it fall on him and make him fall. What do you understand from this?
Yeah, well, that's also very fantastic, right? The idea that a 7-year-old could lift up 1,000-pound bell is like wild. But I mean, it's there's a saying, mind over matter. And I mean, the suggestion of the story is that the properties of matter are not as fixed as they appear, and that the mind is more decisive with regards to how that matter acts. And that, it's kind of like if we believe something to be true in a way for us, then it kind of becomes true.
Yeah. When we have the forethought, it's a duality, right?
Right.
Then that means time and space apply to it. But when our mind have no forethought, time and space not apply to it. Just like the gravity in this earth, it will because the gravity. That's why we can sit, we can walk. Otherwise, we will fly, right? Because the gravity fools us. But when we go out of the space, the gravity force on Earth no longer apply. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So, in the old day, when when we build a computer, we have a very big hard drive, right? It's holding only 20 gig, no, 20 megabyte, maybe. That's all we can do. Later on, we be able to make it more, we refine it, we make it more small, much smaller, but the capacity is very big. Right now, the USB, you can have gig of data. That means we try to put all the world information into the tiny.
Stole my Amber, and she gave me her.
That's okay.
You see, we try to put all the information of the world into the tiny. That means because the information is not material, it's not matter. Therefore, but when it produced, let's say that you transform all the information into book, it becomes very big. Does that make sense?
If you transform it into what?
Let's say all the information into book, that means printing.
Oh, books. Okay. Yeah.
It becomes
then it become big. Yeah.
big and you cannot store, right? It's very big and it's very tough to keep track of those things.
Yeah.
Now you reduce all that into paperless, become electronic. You can be able to hold whatever you want.
Yeah.
So the concept of big or small is relative. Even in the duality world. Right?
Yeah. I read that there you can encode a DNA too with information, because it already is. You can have a system of creating it there. All of the information accessible through the internet can fit in like a couple, like could fit in that of DNA.
Yeah.
Like that's how dense it could so yeah.
That means right now, you know what, China, they want to build the gigantic big data. For what? Because they want to create the AI. That means the machine to be able to control the entire world. If whatever country have the data, the most data, they will control the entire world. So that is the forward thinking mind, be able to do all those things. What about the pure nature of the Buddha mind? The Buddha mind have no duality, no forward thinking. They very pure. That means in the Alaya consciousness, it's a stream of consciousness because we are ignorant. That's why we take all the information in. It becomes the duality. That's why when we see things in two different things. We compare. Right? Black, white, beautiful, ugly, left and right, whatever, right and wrong, whatever. But when we remove this, that means we become very pure. That means the mind it no longer have the forethought. That means the stream of consciousness, it will disappear. That means even though the stream of consciousness is still there, but we, because the Bodhisattva and Buddha do not attach to it. That means from the beautiful, pure nature, you can have everything, but still pure. Even though we enjoy the time and space, but the time and space for the pure nature, the pure mind, is different from the non-pure mind. Therefore, that's why the one who attend the Arahant, they can be able to have the 18 different, they can perform the spiritual power in 18 different types. At the bottom of the foot, you can have fire coming out, and the top of your body, you have water, and vice versa. You can walk on the water just like you walk on the land. You can fly on the sky. You can do whatever. Why they can be able to do that? Because
got a lot of sound in the background. Sorry.
Because the duality, that means the time and space is no longer applied to them. So they can be able to use whatever in their pure mind. And that's why they can be able to have a special effect compared to us. We cannot do that. Does that make sense?
yeah, still astounding, you know, because yeah, like flying and all of
How
that.
do we
Very
scientists be able to prove that? They cannot prove. Remember,
yeah.
the science, right? We just found the science maybe few hundred years ago, not much. But maybe we just know about beside the Earth, we have many other planets, right? That means in the Galileo, right? He the first one who developed, who invented the telescope, right?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he the first one. That's why he go executed by Catholics, I think. Yeah.
They're saying the Earth was round, right?
Yeah. So, and he said that beside the Earth, we have many other, we have sun, moon, whatever, right? We have many other planets. But now, that means the Buddha spoke about the cosmos, the universe, more than 2,500 years ago. So science is way behind compared to the Buddha wisdom. And the Buddha also said that when he taught he teaches the disciple, when you drink the water, you need to inside a cup of water, there 84,000 bacteria. If you don't recite the mantra, just like you eat the flesh, the meat. So Buddha already see that. They know. How do we prove that? But now science be able to see it using the tool. Then you know what they now they look at the Buddha teaching and say, wow, Buddha teaching is so wonderful. He already told us this more than 2,500 years ago. That means science way, way behind. But the more advanced in science, the more Mahayana Sutra teaching become clear. Before 20 years ago, we don't know about the cell phone, right? We don't have the cell phone technology, maybe 30 years ago, whatever.
Definitely 30, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 22. Yeah. 20. Maybe cell phones were just coming out 20
Yeah.
years.
Oh, now we be able to have all those things. So then
Speaking of cell phones.
hello. Yeah, sao này. William là Tammy. Mệt là sao này. Mệt là sao. Mệt là sao này. Ok, thầy nói gì nè. Ok. Đúng rồi. Dạ được. Đúng rồi. Ok, sorry. Okay, so what I'm trying to explain to you is, yes, science is good. That is a good thing. Because science advanced, the Buddha teaching becomes clear. But only portion of it, not all. So if we want to prove every Buddha teaching, but the science capability is not there, how do we prove? But it doesn't mean that it not exist. The same thing is 2,500 years ago. If the Buddha teaching about that means when before he speak the Dhamma, right? He emit the light to all the 10 rivers, to all the Bodhisattva who have affinity with him, come to hear the Dhamma. That means that is a cosmos view in Buddhism. If at that time we say that Buddha teaching is weird, it's crazy. That's the same thing that we are talking about right now. That we say that the magic is not really, because the Thai cannot be able to prove it.
Yeah, the emitting light thing is pretty fantastic as well. To me, not as like hard to suspend the usual sort of thinking about how things work for emitting light. Like emitting light, that seems like okay, light's a little less substantial, all right. But like a limb that is cut off, restoring it, like solid matter, that's wildly impressive and hard to just simply accept and be like, yep, that's definitely what happened. Just because even kind of having a knowledge of all of this, the things, it's still like with just from life experience, it's just
you remember the Buddha past life when he was one of the ascetic practitioner in the forest, and there was the king, right? He and his or his lady went to the forest to enjoy. And when he I think he tired and he sleep, and all his wife, right, came and explore the forest, and they come and see they met this ascetic, and they found him very weird because his hair is long, right? But when they come and come close and they sit down and they hear the teaching of this ascetic, and later on the king, when he wake up, he did not see anyone. That's why he come and then search for it. And when he come to and he saw all the ladies with this ascetic, he get jealous, envy, and he said that what kind of practice you practice? Are you attend the um, Arahat? That means no reading, no desire. No, I did not. I have not attended yet. So what is your practice? And he said that I'm practice on the patient. Really? You practice on patient? Let's see how patient you are. And he because he anger, right? He take out his sword and he chop up the ascetic two arm, right?
mm-hmm.
And he said, did you angry at me? Are you angry at me right now? Do you have any thought of ill will? And he said, no. Can you be able to be patient? Yes, I am. And the king said, I did not believe you. And he continued on, chop his 2 foot. Too late. At that moment, and he asked the ascetic, are you sure you will be able to be patient? Yes, I do. I have no so and also the king make all the god, right, around there, make all the god, that means the Dhamma protector, get angry at this king because he very cool to the ascetic, and they try to harm the king, and the ascetic said to the other Dhamma protector that they do not harm him. And the king said that, how do I know? Can you be able to prove that you have no ill will, you have no anger toward me? And he make the vow. If my mind do not have any anger or ill will toward the king, if this is true, then make my body restore all my claim. Yes, after he said it, all the claim be able to restore perfectly. So how do you prove this kind of teaching? Remember, in Buddhism, when we are talking about the 5 precepts, one of the precepts is lying. So when the ascetics said, make the vow that he never lie, that is the power of the honesty. Due to that power, all these things come back. Because the vow is so powerful. Because the vow comes from the pure mind. Okay, thank you. Quay qua nè. Nè. Mở cửa hết đi qua con. Con ra từ trước hả? Trước anh khóa luôn. Khóa từ trước là khóa từ khóa. Khóa cả không khóa hết luôn anh. Sorry. So that's why when we have the vow, and the vow is so sincere, becomes so strong. That means the mind becomes very pure. Then everything can happen. You can even move the whole mountain. How you prove that to the science? Remember, science only look outside. They don't look within. External only. So the science cannot be able to go to the pure mind. Only the false thinking. If you say that science can be able to prove this kind of thing, I don't think science can do that. Because they are two opposite mindset. The pure mind and the non-pure mind. How that align? They cannot align, right? Can they?
Maybe in like the state of enlightenment, where the small mind kind of takes its appropriate place. Instead of being obstructive, it becomes kind of a servant to the true mind.
So let's say that the scientists always look outside, right? How do they be able to clear their own mind?
Yeah, there's not a way just by studying things outside.
They keep looking outside for things. They keep go to the space and look for the planet, and they keep doing all those things. It never ends.
Yeah,
and that's why they are away from the enlightenment. The more they go out, the more they are away from it. So therefore, when the mind becomes pure, the duality no longer exists. The time and space no longer apply to them. So they can enjoy the duality, the time and space in the pure mind. Just like the magician who can be able to make things appear, but those things is not real. Does it make sense?
yes.
So if we just like when you you memorize the sutra, if you in the mindset memorize it, you can be able, maybe one of the times you could be able to enter into that state of mindset. You'll be able to enjoy the teaching that it happened just like in front of you. Does it make sense? That means whatever the sutra try to describe, it becomes real in your
situation. There's been there's been an occasion with the Lotus Sutra where I've gotten that very living sense of it. Yeah.
Because one of the Chinese master here, the Zen master, the one who always recite the Lotus Sutra, and he be able to that means the during the Buddha time, right? The big mountain, right? The big mountain that he always speak the Dharma. He be able to appear in front of that assembly and to hear the Dharma at that moment in the past. Then how do we explain the time in this situation? That means he go back to the past. And remember, the Buddha said that he can be able to recollect all the path that he can remember, all the sentient being path life. And that means no limit. Why is that? Because all this thing is in the universe. Because when we think, when we say something, it's just like this is just like the stream of consciousness. It's just like the energy. It exists everywhere. And those things never lost. And later on, if we be able to enlighten, become enlightened, we be able to remember that many lives. Because those things is still there. Nothing gets lost. Based on the Buddhist teaching. But science cannot be able to prove that. But at least if we do the record right now, and this recording we can keep for many years. Even we pass away, our children be able to hear. They go to the past. Right? When they're hearing this teaching, that means they go to the past. That's where we are right now. Is that the same concept?
I mean, could be. Yeah, could be if like the Zen master was like not actually going to the past in the sense that he couldn't interact with anything. You know, he was more of like watching a recording.
And enter into the state of the mind. The state of mind. That means all the image in the sutra teaching appear in front of him. If you memorize the sutra, and that is the purpose of the sutra, will help you to be able to enjoy the state that wherever the teaching is, it appears in front of you.
Yeah, the part of it that really impressed itself when I had the most vivid experience I've had with it is this concept of attaining the Buddha way, like the certainty of realizing Buddhahood. And because it's, even if it's like if someone gives as much as a slight nod of the head to a Buddha image, that they're one day certain to attain Buddhahood. And that was the part that came like really vividly true, like clearly, like a sense of knowing the truth of that, and is, you know, very comforting. Just that kind of, and then just that idea of like of entering the great vehicle.
If we use in the language to describe the Buddhist teaching, do you think they can be able to describe all the Buddhist teaching? Include
No.
the Nirvana, include the Buddha nature?
Not completely. No, it can kind of point at these truths, but then we need to like see them directly.
Just like the Buddha said that the Buddha is just like the finger point at the moon. We should not see the finger, but we will rely on the finger to see the moon.
Mhm.
That's the whole idea, right? So that means all his teaching, it helps us to see the Buddha nature, but the language cannot be able to describe the enlightened state. Because the language is very limited. It's a duality. Duality cannot describe the non-duality. It won't work. That's why the Buddha said that within 49 years, his teaching is just like when he go into the forest, he wrapped the handful of leaf, right? He said that all the teaching I teach for 49 days, it's just like the leaf in my hand. But all the thing I know, but I have not teach yet, it's just like all the leaf in the forest. Because those things he cannot be able to use the language to describe. Therefore, we have to practice to be able to experience the state of the mind and be able to and attend that enlightenment. Then at that time, you say that, oh, before we don't believe it, but now we do. Because our state of mind is changing.
And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even go as far as to say like I don't believe it. I guess technically maybe I don't if I have some sort of doubt. It's just like my, my normal thinking mind running up against like a miraculous description. It seems like normal for it to be like, like how, I have no experience of that. Like, is it, well, I don't get it. I don't know everything that's possible all the time. All sorts of new things come out.
Maybe
But
not right now, but maybe in the future. Just
yeah.
like many 100 years ago, we said that if we say to the people that, okay, later in the future, you can fly on the sky, the airplane. No one believe us. But it happened right now.
Yeah.
So thing will, it just wait for time, right? It will happen, but when it happened, I don't know.
Yeah, it would be nice to witness some of that stuff. I'm not saying I want to have a firsthand witness. I don't want to like necessarily get my arms and legs cut off to have them put back on, but to witness those sorts of miracles would be pretty fantastic. Would be great.
Anyway, many other religions, they can perform, they can walk on the fire.
Oh, like the coal.
Yeah, without
coal
burning.
walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is they are not pure, but they be able to do that. If we have the pure mind, this thing is nothing.
Yeah.
When we that's why the master, right, when they sit the meditation even in the winter, that means they don't feel the cold and they don't feel hungry for many months because they use the energy to feed themselves. So how do we explain that to the science?
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff. And that's easier for my mind to like not have the same level of like, about like Zhu Yun's, the time he accidentally entered samadhi while he was traveling to the other temple. He made a fire to cook some roots that he'd foraged on the mountainside, and then sat in half lotus and accidentally entered samadhi for weeks.
For months.
What? Months, yeah. I wasn't sure how many weeks, but yeah, his mold had grown on the soup and everything. And that one seems like, okay, I can see how the body could enter into like a low metabolic state. the minds, I can like.
And think about this. The one of the sick Patrick, no, Patriot Zen master, right, in China. His body is still here,
Oh yeah.
and the scientists already tested to make sure, do we use any chemical to reserve the body? No,
Mhm.
no chemical. And also in Vietnam, we do have two Zen master. They are both brothers. They be able to the body is still there, many hundred years. This thing science cannot prove. So science is way too far behind.
Mhm.
So yes, we rely on the science, but don't be too proud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we can stop right here. Sometime whenever you see that magic work, you tell me.
I'll tell you, yeah. If you see some supernatural powers, you tell me.
Maybe, hopefully, not in my time. Okay, we can stop.
Yeah, if you ever the thing is people who attain arhatship aren't allowed to like say they've attained arhatship,
No.
and they're not allowed to demonstrate their supernatural powers.
But
So
you know what? Even though they don't, but you know what? But they do. You that experience mean to help people
mhm.
without them knowing it. Actually, one time my grandmaster, he be able to revive the dead person back to life. He using the 42 hand and eye. That means the great compassion mantra to do that. So when you in this spiritual world, they are entirely different from the material world. Okay? They are not the same. All right, go ahead, William.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with heart of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
You remember in order to attend the stream enter, right? The first state of Anahat, we need to remove the first 3 feathers of the 10 feathers. That means the first one is the view of the body, right? That means the self, right? Related to self, the fire alligator, right?
Mm-hmm.
That represent the self. We need to remove the holding on the wrong ritual, right? Practice. The third one is usually the second one. Usually Buddhism we don't do, we can be able to we don't have those things, but that is for the outside religion. But the first one is very tough to remove, right? But the third one is the doubtfulness. So it's not easy to have the full faith in the Buddhism, in the Buddha teaching. In the Lotus Sutra, even Sariputta, he the number one wisdom in the voice hearing, right? But the Buddha said that he still rely on his faith to be able to enter the Mahayana Sutra.
Mm-hmm.
if he have to rely on the faith to be able to believe the Buddha teaching in the Mahayana, what about us?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm the thing I'm trying to say is, yet even though we do not understand yet, it doesn't mean it not happen. But we
Yes,
don't know.
I
We don't
agree.
know. We don't
I
know
agree.
when it happened. But maybe one time, one day, you'll be able to attend the enlightenment, and you let me know. To be able to enjoy all the things that that we never see before.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, and that's why it says, like, it's not that I don't believe it. It's just I kind of witness how that information meets my mind. But because of faith in the teachings and really seeing the truth in the teachings, that I suspend judgment and I don't discard it as saying, oh, this is impossible. But just kind of
we can have questions.
authentically.
Yeah, we can ask, we can have questions, but sometimes things cannot be able to prove. But it doesn't mean that it's not there, right?
Yes, yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, Tay.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you.
I'll see you next time.
See you.